this 100 million club, I had been starting to notice and track all these companies that I've been writing about and following for 10 years. And I was like, it's an awful lot of them that have hit 100 million in revenues. Like, and I about early last year, I started to pick away at this and say, well, I wonder how many there actually are. Maybe there's 20 or 30 of them. And my list, I topped out at 71 for this feature. Like, wow, there's 71 tech companies that are private that, have hit 100 million in revenue, and there's probably more. And a lot of them are private capital backed. And you know what that means? If you've got private capital, it means you've got temporary capital on your balance sheet. And these venture capitalists and private equity firms are going to want to sell out at some point. And some of these companies are getting big enough that there's not just more private capital that can keep buying out the earlier private capital. So my thesis was not all, but a significant number of these 71 are going to go public.
Yep.
When they do, we are going to get, for the first time ever in this country, a wave of IPOs of at-scale tech companies that are profitable, that are growing, that have lots of optionality, that are the kind of thing that regular mainstream investors want to invest in. Because we've had two IPO booms in the last 25 years. The dot-com boom, the less we talk about that, the better. Some of those companies were many of them were a joke. And then, as I mentioned, 2020, 21, you had a lot of these underscale, unprofitable companies that, as soon as the markets turn down, their stocks collapse. But, we have real companies that are real large size, and they're coming for your portfolios. And, the McKinseys of the world, the CIs, the Franklin Templetons, they want to own these stocks. They want to own these stocks of prosperous at-scale Canadian tech companies, and it's going to transform our public markets. And so, amid all this doom and gloom, I think there's a reason to be, in the long run, really excited, because, the markets are cyclical. They'll turn back up again for tech, and we'll be right there with some really compelling names that will go public.
Are there certain sectors, names of companies that have really caught your eye in all the work you've been doing over the last 12 years that you want to highlight, that we could keep an eye on?
Sector-wise, like the great thing about these 71 companies is they're all over the map. I mean, like we have
You listed them in the article. We're going to put a link to the article. I think we already did.
Yeah,
I think Scotty did that, but you listed them in your online.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we have we have a couple of companies in geolocation. One is a global leader in telling customers where their customers are located, which is important for streamers and online gambling companies. That's called GeoComply. GeoTab is a company whose technology is in 4 million, I think 4 million, maybe it's more, vehicles around the world, including the USPS fleet, Pepsi, U.S. government. So they're a big player. They're based in the GTA. You've got StackAdapt, which is becoming one of the, a globally leading ad tech company. You've got big players in artificial intelligence. We've got a number of players in quantum computing, which could be the next major tech wave. We have one company that's out there already called D-Wave. They're publicly traded. We've got 3 more coming that are building quantum computers. Xanadu in Toronto, Photonic out west, and Norquantique in Sherbrooke, of all places. So we've got, Canada's actually a major player in quantum AI, like I mentioned. And then on the biotech side, I also write about biotech and life sciences. There's all kinds of interesting companies there. So, it's pretty broad-based and really interesting.